It's over-opinionated. It's over-opinionated with Josh Cott.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Over Opinionated. I am sick, so I will be coughing and sneezing, but it's actually been a while since I actually recorded an episode. Normally at the beginning of the year, I give my beginning of the year rant. I can't talk a ton, so I have brought on a special guest that I've known for a few years now. She will be She will be the first female interviewee on the show.
Let's go.
So, you're the first one in 3 years. Rachel did come on the show a little bit, and she's made a few comments, but it wasn't an interview.
Oh, wait, what about me?
Oh, no, I guess that's true. Okay, so you would be the first solo interviewee. Okay, that's true. I forgot about me.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that episode.
Yeah, it took me a long time to talk Pa into doing it, and she had to help me convince him.
Oh, you still didn't tell him who I am?
Oh, yeah, that's true. This is my sister, Faith, Courtney Faith Scott.
Not the government name.
she is, she barely made it to be a 90s baby, so she was born in the 1900s.
This is true, I was. And I teach, and when I tell my students, because they'll always ask, how old am I? And they want to know my birthday, and I tell them I was born in 99, and they're like, oh my gosh, you're 40. I'm like, no, not quite.
Oh, though, it won't be long until we got a few more years, but it'll eventually be, everyone born in the 90s are no longer in their 20s.
I know, yeah, because I'm born in 99, and my birthday is July 31st, so the later portion of 99, and I am 26. So this upcoming July, I'll be 27. I
got 3 more months in my 20s, and I don't expect they'll be much different than the rest of my 20s were. So,
knocking on 30's door.
Yeah, it's sad, but I've now entered the stage of what I used to consider was old when I was little.
See, I thought 30s were old when I was young too, but nowadays it just feels like 30s are like your 20s was your trial. 30s is you're paying for the full subscription of life, and you've that's when I feel like you gotta figure some stuff out.
Well,
you're settled in.
Well, I don't like the full subscription of life. I would much rather. I would much rather borrow a password.
Me too.
Speaking of password borrower. Used to be very big with the Netflix company before they cracked down on it. You can still get by with it a little bit.
Yep.
That's what.
As you did.
Well, I was going to say as I've heard. So, but
I thought you were leading into our topic of today with saying, as I did on my lovely sister's Netflix account.
Well, this is true, and my profile picture was Delightful Derek for a little bit, and then I changed it to Hopper. So,
justice for Derek and his family. Are they still locked up? I need to know where they are.
We'll get into that. But I think I am going to make this an exclusive show, just because there might be a few words, because we're talking about Stranger Things. But it will not be very dirty. So, has your favorite character this year been Delightful Derek?
Man, he is up there. He really is. And unfortunately for me, I tend to gravitate towards the characters that die. So, like, Eddie was my favorite. out of season 4, and then, he didn't get much screen time because he was in hiding, and then he passed away. So I do have to say that Holly and Derek are tied for first. I really like Holly's character development through fear to being filled with courage and, just taking her leap of faith and helping her friends. And then Derek, I love his humor. He is just so funny, and he's so stinking cute. Like, I want to take him home and adopt him. If his family's still locked up, I would be interested in that.
Yeah, well, I think the actor's family would probably not be happy with that, but...
Well, that's fine. They'll get over it.
Okay. So, it's like, who are you? An evil child kidnapper?
No, he literally could ask me that. He could be like, are you really trying to kidnap me right now? And I'd say, yes, Derek, I am.
Yeah, then he'd probably tell you to suck his fat one.
And so I'd be like, nope, we're not doing that. No, sir.
So, yeah, I watched a compilation of him being hilarious. And it's so childish, but I was like, a bunch of evil monsters will come and eat you. Ha ha, ha ha ha. So.
And it's like Vecna, literally, who is powerful and will harm you and does harm you, is on top of him, threatening his life, showing him horrible images, and he's like, your mom!
Dude, that was great. So when he's threatening him, and I think he did kind of give in one time, but only once. But it was great, though. Just his life is endangered. He's like, I'm going to be a foul-mouthed kid until the end. And
oh yeah, it's his true colors.
He's like, who gave you this map? Your mom. So, what'd you think?
Oh, I think that Derek's personality was a great comic relief for intense portions of the show, and I just really enjoyed him in general. He's just really funny. Another scene that I really appreciated was when they did have him in the barn and he woke up first, and then he's running away and Will tackles him. I watched a behind the scenes thing, and it was like, after that, Will apologized because he was like, I'm so sorry, like, I tackled you too hard. And then poor Derek had skinned up knees. Poor guy.
Yeah, but he said it was okay because he was like Tom Cruise and did his stunts.
That's true. He's so funny.
But we keep talking about the previous episode. That's okay. We got a little while. Yeah, I thought this season was great. Some people complained. To me, it's a character-driven series. I like the supernatural elements. And they're still extremely present, but it just frustrates me when someone's like, why aren't they doing more with the supernatural and the upside down, and why are they focusing so much on character development? Because that's what we care about. I don't know. I don't understand people who care more about the situation than the characters. So.
Right. And these are people that, like, this show's been out for 10 years, and so we've really watched these people grow. Like, Millie Bobby Brown started when she was 11 and is now 21, and she's a wife and a mother, and it's just, you have to have character development when you have that many years invested. And I really enjoyed this season. Now, I do think that it wasn't as intense as previous seasons, just my opinion. I think it had intense moments, but overall...
I think that last episode was pretty intense. So.
I do too. But I'm talking about season 5 as a whole. Like, I feel like, I don't know, I really think season 3 and 4 are very intense.
Yeah,
like,
3's my favorite season.
I rewatched each finale. Well, except for season 1 finale, but they all kind of connect to one another, and it's just interesting to see the storyline build.
Why didn't you watch the season 1 finale?
So I did it totally backwards. Looking back, I wouldn't have done this, but it's okay. I had recently watched season 4, so I didn't even start there. I wanted to refresh my memory on season 3 because it had been a while. So I watched it with the mall scene. That was epic. And the Russians and the underground, that situation. And then season 2 was the possession where Will is still possessed, and basically, Vecna tells him, I don't like the heat. So then poor kid, they, strap him to the bed, and they turn up all their heat sources to get Vecna out of him. So I thought that was really intense because Jonathan has a moment where he's really afraid for Will's life. And he's like, Mom, you're going to kill him. And she's like, I'm not killing him, I'm killing it. And I really like how that tied into Joyce getting to actually physically kill Vecna. I like that.
Yeah.
And then I didn't watch season 1 ending. I don't know why I didn't. I think I ran out of time, but I would like to go back and watch them all in order and just compare them all.
Let's take a quick break.
Hello, welcome to Overopinionated. Are you looking for a conservative Christian podcast? Then look no further than Overopinionated with Josh Scott, hosted by yours truly. We're going to take a look at in-depth topics of theological nature that have applications to your life, important things in your life. We're also going to be looking at the news through a conservative Christian lens throughout the Commonwealth of Virginia, Southwest Virginia, and the country as a whole. I started the show because I wanted to help people break down important theological topics and important political topics, not just BS on public news to keep you going round and round in circles. Stuff that actually matters. This show is unapologetically conservative and unapologetically Christian. If you would like to contribute to the show, you can go to patreon.com/overopinionated679. We would also appreciate it if you followed us on our Facebook page, Overopinionated. If you would like to follow me personally, you can follow me on X at NRV_Guy79. We would also like to give a shout out to our friends at the Darrell McLean Show, hosted by Darrell McLean. Really great guy. So give him a check out. God bless you all, and remember, Jesus is Lord. Yeah, well, me and Rachel she had start watching season 5 with me, and I was like, well, you're not going to understand, it's okay. And she gets caught up into it, and then so we went back, and we started watching it from season 1 all the way now, we're in season 3 now. I mean, we watched the finale, but she's going to catch up with me. We're going to, I think we're on season 3, episode 5, and then we're going to start, and then finish it again, but I enjoyed the series. I felt like last night's episode's the best piece of art from cinema or TV that we have had since. Well, it's the best we have had definitely since Spider-Man: No Way Home in 2021. I don't know if it's better than Spider-Man: No Way Home. It's very close. But if not, then it goes back to 2019 with Endgame, and Avengers Endgame in this felt very similar.
I can agree with that.
Because it focuses heavily on the characters. It doesn't shy away from the situation. It focuses heavily on the characters. We had 45 minutes left after the final fight.
I know. That's when I knew we were cooked. I was like, gosh, it could have happily ended there, but we had 45 minutes left, and then we knew something was coming, something big.
Well, and I thought they did. I don't like the anonymous ending. Let's just talk about it at the very end, and then we'll fill in. We'll go back and fill in. Does 11 make it at the end or not? It's up to the viewer unless the brothers say anything, and they will definitely be asked. And whatever, I always, I go off what the author and the artist says because they're the minds that create it. I believe that they're right. That doesn't mean I always think they make the right decisions, but if they make the final say so, then that's. If they leave it up to the fans, it's up to the fans. But if they don't, if they say something, then that is their story. They have the right to set that in stone. But what I don't like ambiguous. I can't talk right now. I'm very sick. I don't like ambiguous endings because authors will do this in books, TV, movies. They do this and they say it's up to you, and it's normally because the fan base is very passionate. They love it, but they're split in what will happen. So the author will give them a way both to believe what they want to believe, but also have some moments that are both strong and weak in their arguments, and they'll say it's up to you. To me, I don't like when they do that. It seems like a cop out, and it leaves everyone unhappy. I hope that the brothers just come out and confirm that she's alive or that she is not alive, and this is Will trying to cope with a hard situation.
You mean Mike?
Yes, sorry, Mike.
No, you're fine. Yeah, it's a hard topic because I feel like either way, I feel like there were 3 routes they could have taken. I think that they could have showed the whole Callie theory in which Elle was not Elle, she was a holographic image, and then Elle comes back to life, and then Elle returns to Hawkins. I feel like that was one route they could have taken. The second route I think they could have taken is Callie does the same thing, but Elle, just decides, because she had already made her decision. We didn't know the decision, but what if Elle decided to just eliminate herself, as Callie was kind of talking her up to do? I feel like that was the second route they could have went. And then, there's so many routes, but in my mind, in the simplest form is 1, Elle lives, goes back to Hawkins. 2, Elle eliminates herself. And then the third being what we received. And it's hard because I almost feel like the Duffer Brothers were like, let's just leave it up to them.
Yep.
But
well, that's what they do with an anonymous endings.
Right. And like you said, a lot of people don't love that. I don't know. My theory, I'm still hung up on Callie was injured very badly. I don't know what all we can say, so I'm trying to be careful. Callie was injured very badly, and with that injury she sustained, she would not have been able to live long enough to put a spell on Elle, unless they did this without showing it in the show. You know what I'm saying?
And that's the strongest argument to say that this is Will's coping mechanism. But that's the strongest argument. She's losing a lot of blood. And that's that's what I'm pondering right now. But when they actually show her, I don't know. When they actually show her, I don't know, kind of seems like that's her,
Yeah.
But this is something I want to address. And my wife was really big on this theory. I hate it. I hate it from a storytelling thing. If you like it, that's okay. I just disagree with you. I don't think that this was just a campaign or a D&D. I just don't. I know that they showed at the very end a game set that said Stranger Things, dice playing roleplay. But I really think that that's just because the brothers, I forget their names, the authors of this, I think that they just like D&D, and they incorporated it in there, and they wanted to show it as a game. I don't think it's actually just a game within this fictional universe.
I agree with that. I don't think it is either. I think it was a nice way to wrap it all up, because the series starts with them playing, and so it ends with them playing, and it also not only, so it finishes with Mike and them playing. They put up their books, and then you can see it's a very emotional transition for them walking to the shelf to up the basement stairs. I think that kind of symbolizes like a bittersweet moment of life moving on. But then, as Mike is at the top of the stairs, Holly and all her friends are busting down the doors, and they're eager and excited. So I really like that they ended it on that note, because it feels like the heart of Stranger Things continues on. Like, although Mike and his friend's story is over, like, it continues through Dungeon and Dragons. So I think I don't think that the whole show was a game. I just think that that's the heart of the show.
Yeah, I agree. And it's cute. It's not... I just wish that they would have confirmed it's not. But it gives those people that want it to be just a D&D game. I don't know. I feel like that. I don't know why you exactly want it to be that, unless you just really like D&D, and I guess you like that artistic license. But to me, it feels cheaper if it didn't really happen.
And I think my argument being that it is not just a game, I think looking at the characters, like looking at Max, she was crying.
Yeah.
And then as it goes around to Lucas and Mike and Dustin and Will, they're all very emotional. So, like, would they be that emotional had it only been a game? Like, you know what I'm saying?
But I think, yes, I agree. And also, why would Karen Wheeler have the Demogorgon scars on her?
That's a good point.
But I also thought about this. Within everything, you could also make the argument within everything, Will, Karen Wheeler, all of these people, that was the game. Everything is the game. All characters, everything, that's a game. So it's all inside this fictional universe is another fictional universe because it was all a game. We never see anybody playing it. We just see the game itself. Could be a totally different group of people that were just playing the game. I don't buy it. I mean, to spend 10 whole years and great, I mean, this is some of the most fantastic storytelling and TV writing I've ever seen. I mean, it really, it's on the same par of when The Walking Dead was good. Really, when The Walking Dead was in its heyday, I'd say the first, I don't know, up until after Negan. I thought The Walking Dead was great. And then after they locked Negan up, it slowed down. I still thought it was okay. I don't think it was as bad as people say, but it definitely slowed down. But I think it's on par with The Walking Dead, Breaking Bad, Avengers Endgame. To me, this felt exactly like Avengers Endgame. And it was, to me, the last episode was a movie, more than an episode. It might be categorized as TV because it's a show, but it was it was 2 hours and 25 minutes long. That's a movie, man. And they
even showed it in theaters.
I know they were showing it here, close to us in Bristol, and I want it to go, but I just feel awful. I'm sick. I'm tired of being sick, and my wife had to work so the next day, so I just didn't. But if I was by myself or I had someone that wanted to go with me and I wasn't sick and I didn't and Rachel was okay with it, I might have went with somebody. But
see, part of me wanted to, but then I'm glad I watched it at home because I was able to have, like, I cooked some food, we had some dinner, like just snack party food, and then I was able to verbally process what was going on. Now, there were moments that, like, were dead silent. But there were some moments where I was freaking out, and, I don't know that
I want to ask you,
felt...
so, like, I hate horror movies. I don't do horror movies. They scare
me too.
They legitimately scare me. And and my dad has made fun of me for it. Oh, you're 29 years old. You can't... Well, I mean, Dad like, legitimately bullies me for it. I don't care. I don't like it. I think it gets demonic. And, like, legitimately really demonic. Don't want to be around it.
Right.
I'm not saying I never felt eerie when watching it. Stranger Things never bothered me. It was never.
Really?
No, it never like. It was never like this bothers me so much that I can't sleep or you know, there were some eerie feelings in the show, but it never like. It's not going to bother me like a Exorcist movie would, you know. And I think
Right.
part of that is because the spirit behind it, and I don't, and you know, I can't prove that there's no demonic activity on this cast of Stranger Things, and I can't really prove that there's real demonic entities on a lot of these horror movies, but they definitely, and a lot of them will just tell you with a lot of these Exorcist movies that they're based on real events. And you know,
Mhm.
we're getting into some spiritual Christianity stuff, but and yeah, I don't want to ever see a demon in real life, and I don't ever want to. So why would I want to simulate that in something that's very real? Um,
Right.
you know, so
Yeah.
no, it never
Horror
scared me.
movie.
It never scared me, and it wasn't too gory for me. I don't like a lot of gore, and I guess at some spots it could be rough, but it wasn't. It was never too gory for me. It was. I think The Walking Dead gets way worse than Stranger Things ever did. So
Yeah, I agree with that. I really, really don't like horror, but in general, I'm just like a more anxious and
yeah,
scared person. So I
you
really,
probably do get more scared than I do in life. So
yeah, I didn't start watching Stranger Things until the pandemic, and even then I was hesitant because I just get scared, and I have to really talk to myself and be like, okay, is there a real life huge ugly Vecna? No. But the things about scary movies and Stranger Things that do get to me is like, okay, well, possessions are real, and that
yeah,
is something to be fearful of.
yeah,
But I think it's just a difference in my mind between situational scary, like the first time I saw Vecna, that was a situation that scared me, as if like demonic scary. That's not necessarily situational. That's
yeah.
more so
Now
like
I will
realistic.
say, there's a difference in me being like scared that it's bothering me so much that I can't. Uh, I'm having a harder time functioning
Mhm.
versus I was creeped out. I did get creeped
Yeah.
out. I definitely got creeped out watching Stranger Things, which is a little different.
Yes, and like I think it just is all about the setting as well. Like there's a lot of parts in Stranger Things that the music gets eerie, the lighting goes
Yeah.
down, and then there's like
Well,
some
I'll be
jump
honest.
scares.
The season that creeped me out the most was season one.
Yeah,
Um,
that one was scary. That one was dark.
well, and I felt horrible for Joyce in season one. She's trying to find her son that calls her on the phone, can talks to her, and Joyce is a genius. I mean, everyone thought she was going crazy. Her idea with the lights and spelling out the alphabet, genius. And if you want a mom, you get you a mom like Joyce Byers.
Yeah,
She
and
is bad to the bone.
there's parts from season one that like I feel like really paved the way for the rest of the show. Like
Oh yeah, yeah.
I
Well,
look
they
at
made a ton of callbacks to season one on purpose. Um,
right, right, and I really appreciated that because like I said, when I rewatched things, it was really nice to have that memory for
I'll be
the
honest.
finale.
There was 44 episodes in Stranger Things, counting the last episode that was basically a movie. It and there's only one episode I didn't really like,
Yeah.
but it wasn't horrible. I just didn't really like it. Only one.
What was that?
It's I think it's season two. It does have some tie-in to what we're talking about now, but it's when Elle goes and meets her sister. Um,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's called Sisters. That one did,
Yes.
yeah, and it was rated until very recently, And I still think it is rated the worst episode on the show. So I'm not alone in that opinion. It's still watchable. It's not the worst episode in TV. But if you have a show for 10 years that's an hour long, so these aren't 30-minute episodes, an hour long or more. Finales are normally more. And you only get one that was kind of a dud. You did a good job.
For sure.
And,
I would like to see more creations from the Duffer Brothers, if they're out there.
This will not be the last time I think we will get to visit Hawkins. Not at all. Because they're doing an animated prequel. And hopefully, maybe we can see some more stuff from Holly and Delightful Derek.
That would be really neat. I would really like that. And I'm glad you had mentioned a prequel, because I would like to know. I was really interested in Henry's storyline. And honestly, towards the end, when he went to the cave and he faced his fears. Now, I'm not saying that I felt so bad that I liked him, because I never once really liked him. But I did feel very bad for Henry.
Yeah, they set up a very plausible reason for someone to become evil. Yes. I'll be honest. The whole time before the last episode, I was really worried that, because I heard people joking, and I was really worried that they were going to redeem Vecna and he was going to turn against the Mind Slayer. But with everything Vecna did, and there was a chance for him to be redeemed, and he chose not to take it.
He did. He chose not to.
He chose the darkness because he liked the darkness rather than the light. And man, I came very close to quoting a Bible verse there. But, and he just, so I'm glad, because, okay, if they have a big therapy session, and Will gives him a hug, and Will saves him from Joyce and everyone wanting to kill him, don't you feel a little bit cheap that this is the guy that kidnapped Will, and tortured them, kidnapped 12 children, the reason that Eddie died, the reason that, who was the girl in Brittany, the girl in the first season, second episode that was killed? You know, she is.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. And she was precious.
I'm bad with names. I think it's Brittany. It's either Brittany or Brianna or something. Start with a B. And yeah, she died very early on and had a huge impact all the way to the end of the series. It's telling how good of writing that these brothers had, and how good of a character she did, just acting in general. I don't know if there's a bad actor on the show.
Her name was Barb.
Barb. I knew it started with a B.
Yeah.
And the way she died was horrible. And then
very traumatic.
Vecna's also horrible. He also is the reason that Bob died. Will was abducted. Holly was abducted. I'm all for redemption, but I didn't want to see it in the movie. I wanted to see, because we have had so many movies and TVs redeem the main villain. Now, I understand that the Mind Slayer was the main culprit, but he wouldn't have been able to do it without Vecna, and I'm totally fine with Vecna getting the bullet. But what's interesting to me is, so Henry, which was Vecna's real name before he became Vecna, he was a classmate of all the parents in Stranger Things. Joyce, Hopper, Karen, and Mr. Wheeler. What's Mr. Wheeler's first name? I don't remember.
Is it Tom?
Maybe Tom. And it might be, but Mr. Wheeler. And he was a classmate of all of them, you know?
Sure.
So, maybe...
Here's my thing. If Henry and Vecna could exist separately, which I don't think they can, because Vecna pretty much possessed Henry, and then he, Vecna takes over Henry's body.
Yeah.
If they could exist separately, then I wanted Henry to not necessarily have a redemption arc, but I wanted him to choose good, and I wanted him to be able to fight Vecna. And I feel like for me that would have symbolized him fighting all his fear, all his rage, all his anger. But that's not how it played out. And I'm fine with how it played out. And,
right.
But do I think that Henry versus Vecna is something I wanted to see? Absolutely. Because Henry had to have
you wanted a separation between the two?
Yes. So, like, when Henry goes to the cave and faces his fears and sees young Henry and how young Henry becomes Vecna with the briefcase, I almost wish that in that moment of him facing his fear that he could have faced it, and that was like the key to unlocking Vecna away from him. But I feel like Vecna is a possession person. So, like, Vecna doesn't exist without Henry. But I wanted Henry to exist without Vecna. And that way, Henry could face Vecna and be like, why have you made me this evil human? But it didn't play out like that, and I'm okay with it. Unfortunately, I just think that Vecna and Henry are intertwined because you're right. Henry had a chance to redeem himself and be good, but he chose not to, and the consequence of his action was Joyce Byers.
Mm-hmm. Well, and Joyce and 11, I mean, Joyce couldn't have done it without 11. 11 is got to be one of the strongest fictional characters of all time. 100%. And great actor. And Nancy Wheeler, I know some people might, and I think it's ridiculous, some people might not like how they portrayed her being such a bad butt, because she's a girl, and, I have a friend in particular that would say that that's not a good, I just think that's crazy. I thought it was awesome. I loved it.
Nancy is epic. Nancy's character development, like, she's always been a really interesting character, but she has portrayed so much strength, and it's awesome.
In one way, too. Have you ever watched the Rambo movies?
Yes, she looks very similar.
Yeah, and I don't know if you've heard anyone compare her to that, but I don't know if they're talking about that right now, but she looked and acted very similar to a female version of Rambo.
I will say there was a parallel for me when I was rewatching season 3. That is the season with the mall and the Russians and Billy.
Right.
I was watching that finale, and Billy is outside in a car revving his engines. Pretty much, he's like, I'm going to hit Nancy's car because she goes to start it. Her car's not working. Somebody cut the engine cable. Well, she was like, Jonathan, you work on the car. I'll stand on guard. So she's standing. She's actively shooting Billy's car, trying to pop his tires, trying to distract him to get him away from him so they can fix her car. She is like offering herself as a sacrifice. Billy starts revving the engine to hit her. She doesn't even move out of the way. Steve and Robin and the other crew ram Billy with Steve's car. And it's very unexpected because at this time we're just like, Steve's on his own mission. I think that parallel was really similar to season 5 when she's like, everybody just leave, I'll handle it. Now, Billy is not the mind flayer, and the mind flayer is much more stronger and capable of harming her, but we see Nancy go up to bat for everybody so often, and I just really enjoy her character. I was really worried that was going to be her ending, and I didn't want it to be, but I was really worried.
Yeah, the only deaths we got in the episode was 11's sister and maybe 11. And You know, some people really root for a death. I thought if anyone was going to die, it would be Hopper.
Mm.
He was ready. He's just so. I actually do think Hopper gets the most. So they wrote it very well, but I was very concerned Hopper was going to have the worst ending, not because he died, but because he had to live with another daughter dying.
Yeah, that was
But they
bad.
wrote it in a way where he's accepted and he's moved on and he's and
He's building a new life.
and you know, I mean, he was a great dad to 11, and it just makes me. And if she's still around, she's waiting until the military backs off to be in a relationship with Will and the rest of the crew and Hopper. She will not be.
Well,
If she's still alive, I think she will. She's not going to be like Luke Skywalker when they in the sequel series when they just made him a hermit and it was a horrible character development. Everyone hated it,
well,
including
but
me.
think about it because once Elle goes, and then the Stranger Things song, not the Stranger Things song. Sorry, I'm
It's
speaking
okay.
a lot.
No, it helps.
Once
It
Elle
really helps me because
passes,
it's just rough for me right now.
once Elle passes away, and they start playing Landslide, it says 18 months later, and Robin is narrating from the radio area, and she even says, like, there's no soldiers, there's no military. So, I mean, maybe Elle is just waiting a little bit longer, but I just thought of this, and I've not read or watched anything that said it. I just happened to think it in my mind. What if Elle has passed away? What if she's literally in heaven, like her form of heaven?
Hmm. Maybe.
Because,
Yeah,
you know,
that could
like,
be true. So there was a theory. Have you ever watched the Dark Knight trilogy with Batman? It was.
oh, see, no,
Do you
I
know?
don't
Okay.
think, was that the one? There was one Batman that I vividly remember, and I sobbed. I was so scared. I did not want to go to school. It was this whole thing. Apparently, there was
Yep,
a
that's the
map.
same. Yep, that's the same trilogy. So
Yep.
go ahead. You
And
can.
on the map,
You,
it had said Narrows, and I didn't
yeah.
even go to Narrows, but I was a student at Giles High
Okay.
School,
Let,
and I
let me give
remember,
a little background. So that is the last movie in the Dark Knight trilogy with Christian Bale as Batman. So, and this is kind of unique to us people in Giles County. There was a map, and if you zoom in on the map, and it's a fictional map, there is a town called Narrows. Now in Giles County, there's a town called Narrows, part of Giles County, part of the Giles County school system, with Narrows Elementary, Middle, and High. And then you have Macy, McClarty, Giles High, and Eastern. I think that's all the county schools. And then we, and, but on the other part of the map was a town that um, that in the movie was hit very hard with terrorism, I think. And they were afraid. Someone blew up the map, took a picture of it, and the internet did its thing, and people were afraid that there was a terrorist attack. And they were really just they were afraid of a school shooting that was going to occur on a certain date. So they canceled school for on that day, and then the next day, you know, we came back to school. It was nothing. It was a huge coincidence with a fictional map, and people were freaking out. A lot of people didn't told their kids not to go back to school. I remember Mom called me the day we went to school, and she was freaking out about it. She just said, Josh, I just want you to know I love you. If anything happens, I love you. I was like, Mom, I mean, anything can happen ever, but of all days for this to happen, it would be a horrible day because it's the first day back after people are paranoid that there's going to be a school shooting. Thankfully, it was just all internet hoax, you know.
Yes, wasn't this even public news?
Yeah, it was on Channel 7. Yeah.
Yes, because
So,
I remember, like, everybody was posting on social media. Everybody had seen it on the news. I remember giving Dad a huge hug and, like, begging him. I was sobbing. And this goes back to, like, me just being fearful. And I was like, Dad, don't make me go. Don't make me go. Don't make me go. And he was like, Faith, you have to go to school. It is going to be okay.
well, they increased the police presence at the school for
They did.
a while.
They did.
So, yeah, that's a unique story. I didn't want to get sidetracked, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. I'm not fussing on you at all. But yeah, and to me, I just got up and I just went to school like that. It didn't bother me at all. I thought that everyone was being absolutely ridiculous. And don't get me wrong, school shootings is something that terrified me in high school. I went, especially my senior year when I was dealing with depression in 2015, and this is when ISIS was on the rise in the Middle East. Now, they weren't in America, but I was in a bad headspace mentally with depression, anxiety, and my senior year of high school, I could say, might have been one of my worst, actually. Shouldn't have been, but kind of was, and I just remember, fantasize is the wrong word because that makes it sound like I wanted it to happen. I didn't. I guess I would visualize this happening to me at school, happening to my friends, what I would do. I would look, and I still do this, and they teach you to do this in self-defense classes, to look around your surroundings in case something bad happens. Where's the clearest exit? Where's the best place to hide? Just being observant of your surroundings. I would do that, and it bothered me. I definitely think about it. I grew up in a time, and you did too, where this could happen at any moment. It's a scary thought. But that is not, but during that, I was not afraid that was going to happen because of a fictional map in the last Dark Knight Batman movie.
So, what were we going to say to tie that Batman movie
thank you.
into it?
We took a really dark turn there. Yeah. But no, what I was going to say to tie that back into Stranger Things is, in the last Dark Knight movie, and it was that one in particular, I think it's called The Dark Knight Rises. It's with Bane. There is a scene in the movie, at the very last scene, Batman drives off in his bat helicopter. Well, it's not a helicopter, it's a bat jet. He takes the bomb, takes it far away from the city, far enough from Gotham. But most people thought that he died saving himself in the explosion. But then he shows up and he's at a coffee shop and he sees Alfred, his butler, and he gives him a little wave. And he doesn't put back on the cape or anything. He actually gives it to this detective called Robin, who was going to fulfill his shoes. And it gives him all the equipment and stuff. But people speculated that he actually did die while saving Gotham. And it was debated, was he really alive or did he really die? Was the last scene just a picture in Alfred's mind that he made? It's a very similar situation to 11.
Interesting.
Yeah, and man, people went crazy about it. I do think Christopher Nolan, the director, cleared it up, though. I think he spoke on it and said that Bruce Wayne / Batman did live. So I'm pretty sure that he put that answer to bed. And it could be a couple years before they confirm anything. Because right now, they want everyone to keep talking about it.
For sure.
And,
you know what I would love to see happen? I would love to see Stranger Things written as a book, whether that be a comic book series or just like, they have books for like honestly, they were in the kids section at Target, so I think it's geared toward young readers, which, I mean, I'm not above reading that. Right now, I'm actually reading Narnia. So I would enjoy reading it. I would like it more so as like a thriller, sci-fi book. Like, I would love it just the way it is on TV
Well, you bought me a prequel book that I really enjoyed about Riverdale. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at it right now, and I actually wanted to bring up Riverdale. So here it is. It's in my library. We're very fortunate that I could find it. You bought me this book, and I absolutely loved it. It's a young adult. I mean, a kid could read it, but it's Riverdale the day before, and it has a silhouette of Archie, and it goes over the events of Riverdale the day before.
Okay, cool.
Now, I loved the first 3 seasons of Riverdale, but the show has ended, and I have yet to watch the rest of it. They go into a dark supernatural. I'll be honest, I felt worse about watching Riverdale when it got dark than I did about Stranger Things. And I agree. I need to try to catch up. Did you give up on Riverdale when it got dark?
So it's interesting that you brought Riverdale up because
Well, you brought up the prequel, and I'm holding the hands in my. I'm holding the hands. No, I'm holding. Oh my gosh! I dated the book.
That's cool. When'd you get it?
I dated the book when you gave it to me. Well, oh man, okay, no, it's not the day you gave it to me. It's the day I read it, but it'd be very close because I put a check mark next to it in the date. When do you think it is?
Oh gosh, I'm gonna say I don't know like month and date, but I mean year wise, I'm gonna say 2019.
You got it right. Yeah, it was the day I read it. 2/23/19 check mark.
Nice.
I'm kind of glad I did that because I'm pretty sure you bought me this book.
I think I did because you used to buy me the Archie comic books, and I still have some of them.
Yeah, I bought you the Archie comic books it was based off of. And man, the first 3 seasons of Riverdale, fantastic before they go dark into the supernatural. And then I was like, I don't know, this is getting bad. And but I really loved it. And I think that the first 3 seasons of Riverdale is very comparable to Stranger Things.
I agree. I agree with that. And it's interesting that you bring it up because I've not told you this yet, but Rose, our sister, she is just now starting Stranger Things. So she's like early on. And she looked at me and she said, Faith, this reminds me of Riverdale. And she was like, have you watched it all? And I told her, I said, no, I watched the first 3 seasons, but I've not picked up. And she was like, oh my gosh, like I've watched all of it, but you're right, the first 3 are the best.
Wait,
so that's
Rose has watched all of Riverdale now?
Yeah, she has.
Okay.
Because she was comparing the first couple seasons
I was wondering because Riverdale, but she was little. When it first came out, she would come in and we would put it on Netflix. We all lived together then. And it terrified her. We had to quit watching it in front of her. We had to watch it by ourselves.
Yeah, I remember that.
But she was pretty little. I mean, she's 17 now. So how old would she have been in 2019? Or the show? Well, I think the show probably came out in 2018. So.
Yeah, I think she was 11 because.
Okay. Yeah.
10 or 11 because Sophie. I know we watched it before Sophie was born.
Yeah, you weren't married. You weren't married yet.
Yeah, and then I got married and Sophie was born, and I don't even think I watched it when Sophie was born, so it's been a really long time.
Yeah, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look up when Riverdale came out.
I want to say maybe it came out in 2017.
And I need to maybe I go back and I start from the beginning and finish Riverdale. Riverdale, I will say this: Stranger Things is much okay. It came out in 2013. There are 7 seasons.
2013?
Yes.
Wow.
Even no, not 2013. 2017. I probably said 2013.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that sounds more accurate.
Yeah. Okay, the actor that played, I know we're getting off topic of Stranger Things. The actor that played Betty Cooper is my age. She is 29.
Oh,
Yeah.
isn't her name like Lily something?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking
And
about.
the actor that played Archie is 28. And but anyway, we'll get back to Stranger Things. And so did you have any problems with any of the, and except for the anonymous stuff? And is it a game or not? I don't know. I feel like the is it a game thing. I don't know. The more I think about it, the more weak it becomes. I just don't think it's. I think if for you to see it as a game, I feel like you kind of got to make it one.
Yeah.
In your mind.
I do too.
I think the harder question is 11 alive, and I think you can go either way on that. I think she's probably alive, but I could go back and forth on that. And if she's not alive, then I'm fine with her sacrifice, and it doesn't bother me. The most it bothers me for is Will, because he didn't get any comfort. I thought that was going to be Hopper, but it wasn't. It was Will. So.
I will say, Will didn't get as much as a warning as Hopper did, because Hopper had kind of known, and Elle and Hopper were able to discuss it. Now, sorry, I said Will. I meant Mike. Mike and
yeah, I've been calling him
Elle,
Will too on accident. Yeah.
Yeah. So Mike and Elle had their moment literally in her last moment. So I think that was just really heart-wrenching to watch.
Yeah. It was. And when he's in her mind, it's...
Yes.
I feel pretty rough for him, but I don't know. We'll probably wait a few years, but if we live to see it, I think we'll see some. I'm not saying they're going to reboot the franchise. I'm not saying that. I think we'll get more answers. I think the brothers will talk more as the years go on. Not right now. They are loving this because I'm not saying this to be bad. They're definitely making money off of us talking about that. That's fine. They deserved it. They earned it. And not only that, because it's not all about the money. People who get into this stuff, people think that it's all about money. Those guys were filming stuff on an old camera when they were little. It's because you love the art.
Right.
It's because you love the art.
Right.
And people were talking about their creation. So, in a few years, people will see them at Comic-Cons, people will ask them questions. The only conflicting thing is if they said two different things. Then that would be hard because they both created it. But if they come out and say it together, I'd be fine. There'll be verbal answers, and we got the prequels coming. There might be a series. I don't know if it's true. There might be a series with Holly and Dustin, and not Dustin, but Derek. Also, I love Dustin. Dustin's a great character. So.
I do too.
He was made fun of so bad early on, and bullied. He was even bullied this season. Go ahead.
I hated how sad he was this season, but I love his character and his character development. It just broke my heart to see him grieve and have such a hard time with that.
Yeah, it was bad. But, he gets his final hurrah. He goes to a big university. He probably went to an Ivy League. Becomes the valedictorian and gives a very rebellious speech. Grabs his diploma and flips off the principal.
And then Tom Wheeler says, language.
Hey, I will say this, and I'm not trying to talk bad about my former principal, and you don't have to say anything because you have the same employer as him. But the way I graduated, it wasn't that dramatic. But my principal was not very happy at me after I grabbed my diploma. I'll just say that. And I actually liked the guy, but I just had it planned out. I wanted to go out the way I want to go out. I put 5 years in Giles High School. I love that place, and I want to have a little fun, even though fun was heavily discouraged by the school. They hated the idea we'd bring beach balls at our graduation and confetti cannons, but we did it anyway. I just think it makes it fun, and all my family and everything said we've had to sit through so many horrible and long graduations. Not that it's horrible to graduate, just boring. They're like, y'all guys made it fun. I was like, yeah. And everyone gets dressed up. They're wearing a tie and slacks under their robe. I remember Chantry Pennington. He's like, Josh, you can dress up nice. Why don't you dress up nice? I wore a Superman t-shirt and blue jeans or something like that. And I was like, well, we're wearing robes. They can only see the top of your ties anyway. So, and I never understood why we're wearing ties to our graduations when you're wearing a robe, but they can't hardly see it under. But
that's a good point.
They might, I guess they see it when you unzip your robe and have your pictures taken, but
yeah.
I wore a Superman t-shirt, and you probably remember, they gave me my diploma. I looked at the crowd, and I didn't really rip it, it was a zip, but I made the Superman motion of ripping a suit. I had the big Superman shirt underneath it, so I thought it was fun. I got a pretty big, cool picture of it, but I can relate to Dustin's principal not being happy with him after he got his diploma.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean,
I
didn't flip off my principal. I wasn't going to do that, but
I didn't do anything publicly heroic on my graduation day, but I will say I was a behind-the-scenes hero, let me tell you.
How's that?
So, okay, I don't think I've ever talked about this, but I am not a girl who can wear heels and not break my neck. So, I knew during graduation day, I was just going to wear, like, these nice sandals. So that's what I did. I wore a pretty dress, my cap and gown, and my nice sandals. Well, I got my diploma, went back to my seat and sat down, and the girl behind me, we knew each other, but we didn't talk often. She was like, I'm stressed out about walking in these heels. And they were like 5-inch heels, and they were not thin. Not thick. They were thin. And she was like, what size shoes do you wear, Faith? I was like, size 8. She was like, can I please have your shoes? I take my shoes off, I give them to her, and she walked across the sideline, got her diploma in my shoes, and she came back and we swapped.
Well, that's sweet. You didn't wear
I didn't want her to break her neck while she was trying to graduate. Like, that would have been really sad.
Yeah, I get that. I was not. I understand there's certain times you want to dress up a little bit. When you're graduating and you already have a robe over top of you, you know.
I think the thing is just because it's, I guess, a formal event,
yeah,
and
I get it.
all your family's there.
I get it, and the principals definitely put a big, no matter. I mean, you had a different principal your last year than me, I guess, but the principals they get a lot of pressure put on them by the school board and the parents, and they just turn kind of hateful about it. So, I mean, going back to Hawkins, I guess that principal of Hawkins High School had the same feeling, and Dustin just said, screw this, man. And, you know, Mike almost didn't go to his graduation, you know, and that's actually kind of real. There's a lot of people, for whatever reason, it's not the majority. There's some people, it's like, I got my diploma. Why am I going to walk? Either out of depression or frustration.
Right.
I felt that, and so when Hopper is sitting down and he's talking to Mike, not Will, I feel that, man. I felt that in high school. My senior year was rough, and sometimes,
you know, it's interesting you say that, because my senior year was my worst year, and
well,
I can't I can't speak for others, but I've heard that it's a common theme. It's almost
maybe it
like...
is, and maybe it is a common theme, because I wouldn't have thought about it, because you think it should be your best year. My best year was my junior year, no doubt.
Yeah, I think my best year was tied between sophomore and junior. I had a really good time those years.
Well, but okay, your sophomore year, my junior year is when we won state, and the atmosphere in the school was outstanding, and I just loved it. I mean, those people appreciated us. Sometimes, looking back on it, I think that they might have made us a little arrogant because of how good they treated us. So,
yeah, I'll never forget.
And you said that to me too. You said that to me too. You said I was being arrogant because I was on the football team and we were proud state champions. You said I became arrogant.
Well, okay, I do think, and you all.
And it's okay. It's okay if you said I became arrogant 12 years ago, by the way. I'm not mad.
Well, just hear me out.
All right, I'll hear you out.
You deserved the credit. You earned it. You deserved the praise. Y'all had your moment. But that's like all I heard. And I was actually in ninth grade when this happened.
Okay.
And so for the rest of, and I was a cheerleader. So, I mean, I was big in football culture. For the rest of my years, it was, there will never be a team to compare to you all. And that's a good thing, but that's all we heard. And so I don't know, I can't speak collectively for everybody, but for me, I was like, y'all, like I hear it at school and then I hear it at home.
Yeah, that's fair. And sometimes I feel like God didn't give us another state championship because of the arrogancy, and He might have. You never know. But
do you remember that first day back at school after the state championship when they played "We Are the Champions" over the intercom?
I'll never forget it. Yeah.
That was kind of the moment for me where I was like, "This is really cool," and you could tell that the spirit and the morale was like lifted.
There's a fine line between the school coming together, and it really brought the community and the school together, which was great. There's a fine line between that and a genuine appreciation versus we're going to worship the football team. And,
right.
But why'd you think I was arrogant, though? I'm just kidding.
Well, Josh, you would literally, which I don't know, I wasn't in your shoes, but you would put your ring on and you would put it in my face and be like, kiss it.
I did not do that.
I am pretty sure you would.
I did fling my ring around a lot, but I don't think I told you to kiss it like I was royalty.
I am either 90% sure it was to me or like 99.999% sure it was to our younger sisters.
Now that sounds more plausible. I probably did it to Rose or Lily. Yeah, I probably did.
That don't make it better.
No, it does make it a little better because I'd get them to do all kinds of stuff just because it was funny. But I remember one time, I don't know, I was with Richie Miller. We would go walking, and it'd aggravate him because every time we'd pass the rock that they put up for us, I'd be like, "Hey Richie, that's my rock." So, but back to Hawkins. I don't know. Any closing? We kind of jumped around a lot, and that's fine. I enjoyed having you on. I'll have you on more. If y'all ever want to have a siblings episode, that'd be fine. I know you talked about having a podcast, but it could be, you could do it. It could be a lot. It's a lot of work, especially if you commit to doing. How would you want to do it? Would you think one episode a month or something?
See, I don't really know. And I don't know, like, what I would want it to be on. Part of me just, like...
I think Rose, we could do it with Rose if you wanted to. She's 17. She's almost 18, so Joy gave him permission. But Lily's still young. She's still in high school. We might want to be careful with that.
Yeah.
Well, I get Rose is still technically in high school, but she's almost out.
Right. I think if I were to start my own podcast, I just would have to find a theme that I would like it to be around. Like yours is on being overly opinionated, and you've got your groove. But
Yeah.
and this is gonna sound cheesy and tacky, but it would fit my audience. Like I think I would want mine to be like on spirituality and motherhood and
No.
being
Why is that bad? I mean,
well, I don't think it's bad. I just think I don't know. Sometimes my anxiety gets to me, and it's like,
the mom cat.
oh, so you're like all the other 1 million creators on the app.
Then
But I don't know.
Then be like the other creators. Who cares? I mean, but there's nothing more important than being a mother or father in this world. And if you can share other experiences with people, then you can go for it. You have
Well, I got a lot going on. I mean, like my spirituality, I try to keep first and foremost, and then I'm a mother, and I'm a teacher, and I'm a dance teacher. Like I've got a lot to bring to a microphone.
Yeah. I mean, and you can get stuff. I got a microphone. I'll give it to you. I have an extra mic.
Even Brennan's got the perfect setup for streaming because he was once doing that. So, I mean, I don't know. It's something to think about and look into.
Yeah. And it doesn't have to be sibling screech. It can be anything you want. And you can do one episode a month if you want to talk about whatever you want. That's the best thing about this podcast. It's mostly a heavily biblically based podcast, but I can do anything. I got Dakota on here. The last interview was my old friend Dakota Schrader. We talked about the state championship team. We can talk about anything we want to. I did an episode about Deadpool and Wolverine. I really want to start getting the more nerdy stuff. It's hard, but I said Faith has watched the end of Stranger Things, and normally I do an end of the year. I do a beginning of the year 2025 rant. I'll probably do one still before the week's over. This is the spot I would normally do it at. But before the week's over, I'll do a 2026 rant. Because it seems like my audience generally likes that. But that will mean that we'll go a few episodes without a Life of David episode. But that, you know what? That's fine. I'm not doing this for money. I'm doing this for me. I'm doing it for the love of podcasting. It's just it's a radio. It's internet radio. It's all podcasting is. It's how you can really describe it to older people that don't understand. Yeah. It's internet.
And I love all sorts of different podcasts.
Yeah. It's internet radio without FCC guidelines. It's really what it is.
Yeah. Like, New Heights is such a good podcast. Put Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce aside. I love that podcast.
But that's a sports podcast, ain't it?
It is. But it's just the way that they banter and they talk as siblings. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed that.
Well, and listen, I fought very seriously. Now, people might not have liked it, and people within the political party, I know that there would be some that would hate it. If I wouldn't have left Giles, I was thinking very seriously about doing a county podcast. Because that
would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, I could talk about sports, school, current events in the county. Every county really could have a good podcast. Some people would like it, and some people would hate it. Especially if I started going, and I was thinking very seriously about I'm going to, board meetings, county board meetings and stuff, and talking about what was going on. And not that I was going to run for something, that I just don't, I don't know if God has that. And at one time I thought maybe I would want to run for public office, but I don't know if that's what God wants me to do. There's a lot of people that think they should run, and they probably shouldn't. But there's a lot of people that can make a much bigger impact through their words. I mean, I think of Charlie Kirk. He has, God rest his soul, he had a much bigger impact than your average congressman. He really did.
Right.
And everyone, not everyone has to be a Charlie Kirk. You can be within your own county. Start at your county borders. Start at your town's borders. I don't know as much about Smith County. I'm starting to learn. I've been here 3 years. if I ever move back to Giles, if we ever move back as a couple, as a family, then I would consider it. You have to be careful though, because I've definitely faced, because of my opinions, because of my words, not even though that they're not hateful. I've had people job interviews say, "Well, what about this?" And I'll just tell them what I do in my own time is my own, but when I go to work, I go to work, and they just have a hard time believing it. But when I'm at work, I don't talk about politics or religion, not really, unless they bring it up.
Right.
Or unless I'm very good friends with someone at that work site. I try to treat everyone the same. I've been a housekeeper for several years at different places, in university settings. I disagree with a lot of professors on things. They get the same treatment out of me as anyone else will. I'm going to clean your room exactly the same, or if I'm a security guard or whatever I am, I'm not going, just because you disagree with me, to not help you as much. People locking themselves out of their rooms, and no matter what job it is, I'm not going to say you disagree with me. I'm going to treat you worse. I'm just
Right.
that's not the person I am. That's not the person I think Jesus wants us to be. But there's always consequences. I've always went, I'm going to go with my conscience, be the best person I can. And I think once people know me, then they accept that most of the time. There's always going to be some people that, like, I can never accept your belief on this about homosexuality. You think it's a sin. I'm never going to treat you as a friend. Well, that's fine. But that doesn't mean I'm going to be mean to you. And if you don't want to be my friend because of my religious belief, then that's on you. I'm not going to fret over it, and I've been through that. So, it is what it is. You got to make your priorities and set them into stone, and maybe that affects you financially, but man, I couldn't imagine just selling my conscience out to make more money.
Right.
And
Right.
part of it's circumstances too. The way life has thrown stuff at you, and I'm a big, a lot of conservatives aren't. But I'm a big believer that some people are more privileged than others. Now, I don't think that that's always because of race. Some people do. I think most of the time it's because how the parents that brought you up, and your financial setting, and your setting. Where we grew up in Appalachia, and the Bible Belt, the South, and Appalachia, we have a lot different problems and a lot different pleasures and privileges that people in San Francisco have never even thought of.
That's true.
So,
That's true.
But but that's just life. Got to live it and try to love people to Christ, and make some friends along the ways, have some fun. I don't think once you get saved that you stop caring about fantasy and art, because man, how do you reach people if you won't engage in the culture? So I'm big on art. I'm big on stuff. It doesn't mean you have to like everything, because you can't like everything, right?
Right.
But you're big into art. You're big into literature. You've read a ton of books this year. So I mean, and you're big. I mean, and sometimes we like the same art. Sometimes we don't. Stranger Things is something we've bonded over here recently, and I'm glad we've had that.
For sure. For sure. I like meeting all sorts of new people, and even people that have been in my life forever, like you. And I like talking to them. I like picking their brain, and I'm always a person that's down for conversation and down to learn more. And so I think that's a really cool thing.
I don't think it surprises people as much now, because I'm much more open about it. But it really surprised some people that even I've been friends and family with, that I've talked to, how much of a nerd I really am. A lot of people just didn't get that from me. Even in high school, especially after I graduated high school, I didn't have football anymore. So I needed something to plug that void. I plugged it with comic books, movies, and really nerdy stuff. Marvel, DC, stuff like Stranger Things, and The Walking Dead. I remember I talked to our cousin Sarah, and she was a big Walking Dead fan. At the time, I don't know if she's kept up with it till now. And I started engaging in conversations, and we were caught up. She's like, "That really surprises me. I thought you'd think it's stupid." It's like, I love this stuff. I think it really.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Do you think it surprises people that I'm as much as a nerd, or it used to?
Probably not now because you've kind of rooted yourself in some of that. But back then, yes. And it's funny you say that because I remember in high school, like, some people, like I said, I talk to anybody and everybody. But some people would look at me and I'd be talking to them, and I've had people say, like, I thought you were going to be really mean. Like, I thought you were going to be like a not nice popular girl. And I was like, that's never been me. That's never been on my agenda.
That was never me either. And that's always this. That's one thing about movies and stuff that bothers me. Is the football team and the jocks are always the jerks. There's some truth to that, but they overplay that. And that always bothered me. Like, the football team's not the incarnation of evil. And, and my senior year, everyone thought it was weird. I think, I don't know. So my junior year, I sat with a table with Dakota, Hunter Epperly, and all them. But I got put in a different lunch for some reason. I think I had third lunch my senior year for some reason, which is weird, but there's something about my schedule. And so I didn't have the same lunch as my friends. So guess where I sat at? I sat with the quote-unquote weird table the whole year. And they were all gay. Most of them were gay. And I had conversations with them. I was friendly with them. My senior year, I had a pretty good friendship with a lesbian girl that knew my stances. Now, I tried my best to get her to come to church. I just couldn't. And sometimes I wonder, how's that girl doing? I was never able to. I haven't seen her since. I might have seen her once. I think I seen her once at Grant's after I graduated. Never again. That happens, but I hope she's okay. I was
going to say, maybe you should reach out to her and just say hello.
I'm not going to say her name on the show, but
No. I'm just saying after.
I think I eventually did find her on Facebook, but it's been a while ago, and I don't want to bombard her. And I think that'd probably surprise people that I would do that, but I'm not bragging on myself. I really did. And maybe that was the difference between me and the rest of the football team. I would talk to anyone. And I think a lot of the team would talk to anyone. They just didn't take as much initiative as I did. So
yeah. And I think as we grow as people and in our age, like, we definitely start to lose that, like, fear and worry of, what is so-and-so going to think? And we realize that life is a lot more than that. And I try to talk to or love anybody that I can, and anybody that I come in contact with, I just want them to at least feel like they are cared for. Yeah. And even if I agree or disagree with you, like, I just want your bottom line to know that you do have someone in your corner. And that's always what I try to go into relationships with.
That's why Stranger Things is such a great show. I mean, Steve, I was telling you, Steve's a jerk in season 1. He's a jerk, man. And then he becomes better and better and better until the character we love now is Steve. And he's in this former jock that's a real jerk in the show. And he's a womanizer, he's a jock in season 1, becomes best friends with Dustin. So, I like stuff like that. It might not always happen in real life, but sometimes shows don't have to show exactly what's happening in real life, but how we want to try to make the world.
For sure. I agree with that stance.
Yeah, and sometimes, I will say this, though. if I am very concerned that your daughter might tell someone to suck a fat woman after she's mad because of the show, though. I am kind of
Listen, I tried my best to be like, go to bed. And she was like, I just want to play Fortnite. So I put her headphones on, and she honestly did very good about not peeking and not listening. But it is, I fear, me that is the problem, because I will tell Brennan to suck my fat one when he is inconveniencing me, and I won't stop. So
it is kind of funny. Faith, I'm not trying to be mean, or Faith has a much fouler tongue than I do. We'll just say that. And
oh my gosh, you're such a diva. Everybody, okay, even Dad and Julia and Rose and Lily and you, especially
me.
family. Yeah, especially you, because you brought it up.
Okay.
They're all like, oh, well, Faith, don't cuss around Sophie. And I'm like, y'all think that I'm a sailor. Like, if I stub my toe, yes, I'm going to cuss. But I don't just cuss in casual conversation. My cussing has to have a motivation. Now, I will say, Lily has engraved fake cuss words in my brain. So now I'm saying fake cuss words. So, like, instead of, the cuss word for butt, I would say ah. And so now I've got to stop that, because Sophie will say shake ah. And I'm like, you cannot say that. Yeah, so.
Yeah, well, it happens, I guess. And just, you got to try your best. It happens to me sometimes. It's not a lot, but I don't,
God forbid you cuss as much as Faith does. Woo!
Well, it is kind of funny when I'm around you. If you get mad or just flustered, and you'll say something, and then I'll look at Brennan and he'll go, "Gosh."
Brennan's like, "This is an everyday occurrence."
Yeah. So and well, if you're not saying the F word all the time or something, I don't like it, but everyone slips up a little bit most of the time. I will say it kind of, with the Stranger Things tie-in with Mr. Wheeler, he's just always saying language. And I'll end the podcast with this. I won't hang up with you, but I'll end the podcast with this. So Mr. Wheeler reminds me of our grandma, Evelyn. Because so the Demogorgon's attacking, and he reaches for a golf club, and it might seem funny, but it's pretty brave that he was just willing to fight the Demogorgon with a golf club. It doesn't work out.
I mean, he had it. He might as well.
It doesn't work out for him. And then just how Nee hates. It's not a normal, we shouldn't cuss, this isn't good. She has an absolute hatred of cuss words.
I know. I have to be careful.
It kind of reminds me of Mr. Wheeler. Yeah. Oh, no.
I'm a little worried if she listens to this podcast all the way through. She's like, Faith, we're going to have a phone call.
I don't think you have to worry about Nee listening to this podcast.
Oh, good.
I'll just tell her. But anyway.
She's like, do not listen to this one.
Why? Watch it. Well, but this is Nee's problem. Our grandma.
Oh my gosh, we're not going to get into this on the pod.
No, I'm going to do it now. She gets... It's okay. I'll tell this to her face. I'm not mad. I love her. She's a great grandma.
You're brave.
I'm not mad. I love her. She's a great grandma. She gets mad at quote-unquote cuss words that aren't cuss words.
Like fart.
Oh, gosh, yeah. Don't say that when you're 5 years old.
Don't say the F word, not the bad F word, but the fart.
For my audience, me and Faith were sitting in the back seat of the car. Pa had just preached a sermon at night time. We're getting ready to go home. And I don't know why, but I just said fart. I don't know why, but I did. And she said, "Oh my gosh, Don," my grandpa's name's Don, "Josh just said the F word." And Pa's like freaking out. He spells the word. I have no idea what they're saying because they're spelling it. I would still.
Yeah, poor dyslexic Josh is like, I know I didn't say that.
No, I just didn't know why they were freaking out. And then I heard she go, "No, Don, the F-A-R-T word." And I think Pa even thought she was a little ridiculous. He didn't say it. He just starts laughing and he says, just that's not a good word, Josh. Don't use that word." Which is funny, but yeah, my grandma reminds me. Well, no, Mr. Wheeler reminds me of my grandma, and they wore, okay, and she doesn't now, but in the '80s they wore the same type of glasses. You look
yeah, that's true.
Look at a
That's
picture
true.
of me and her glasses and Mr. Wheeler, same glasses. So our grandma would not be okay with the actions or languages of Delightful Derek.
One more thing about Derek, and then we can hang it up.
Okay,
but
yeah.
Let's show some appreciation for the scene where they're all in the bus leaving the upside
And he
down.
waves at Mike.
He waved at Mike, and Mike was like, "What the heck?"
Yeah,
and then he just keeps staring at him.
And Delightful Derek, he's got a potty mouth and he's a little rough, but he really, within this short season, he makes a turn for the better too. So
he does.
And
I just feel very maternal towards him.
No, it was great that he's talking on the phone with Joyce, and he said, "Remember what we said? It's not dipshit Derek." He's like, "It's right. It's Delightful Derek," and then he hangs up. And then he corrects Holly when they're in the Vecna's mind. He corrects Holly. She's like, "It's dipshit Derek," and he said, "It's Delightful Derek."
That should be turned into like a mixtape to get a football team hype.
What? I did find a compilation of Derek being hilarious. Well, if we all changed our name on social media to Delightful, and then our names.
That would be so funny.
All right, guys. We're going to let you go. Thank you for coming with our rant. I'll be welcoming you back in the next episode.